Welcome to Talker and Riyadh, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-hosts, Jen Isgro and Tom Kokoza. Jen, how's everything going tonight?
Joe, I am great. I am a week closer to having a brand new bathroom in my house.
The bathroom
The
saga
ant
continues.
problem has ceased.
Hey.
And couldn't be better.
Tom,
That's it.
how you feeling on this Friday, this holiday weekend Friday?
I'm feeling well, Joe. I was off today for no good reason.
Oh, me too.
Whatever. My father-in-law had minor surgery and he's fine, but my wife had to go get him to it from the hospital, so I had to stay home just in case to take care of the kids and stuff. Yeah, doing well. Very excited about tonight's episode. Very excited about a long weekend, which will have at least one barbecue in it, probably more than one, but at least one, which is as American as you can get.
Party time, huh? 2 barbecues. Wow. You're popular.
Calm down.
I live large.
We've got a lot to talk about tonight. So should I just go right into it? Let's just dive right into some news, some last minute news.
Like Scrooge in the money bank. Let's go.
Yeah, this is some last minute news we got.
The money
here.
bin, Tom. The money bin.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know you know that.
I gotta leave the show. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I think it just came out wrong. I know you know it's the money
We'll
bin.
let it pass.
Yeah.
So listeners will forgive you, Tom.
I'm like
Disgusting.
hurt inside. Like if you see the video, you can see my face, like the actual real
Pure
physical
disgust.
pain I have for getting that wrong. Yeah,
Pure
that's
disgust.
terrible.
Nobody feels worse about this than Tom, for sure.
Nah, man, that's like, man. Now I know like how like an athlete feels when they make a bad play, like a bad routine play, and cost their team.
Yeah,
Like, that's what I feel like.
Yeah, let's push past this.
All right, let's put
it behind us and keep things moving.
Keep going with the show.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
We've got some last minute news that was just released today. So Watt Series published an article today again that makes basically our previous episode that we just did entirely pointless. So it seems while we were debating the phrase the coming year, they were going out and finding, facts. So, yeah.
Strange, but okay.
What?
Yeah. So in the recent article, it was basically like a news roundup of what, had been going on over the last couple of weeks. So they talked about the Prime experience for your consideration. We had talked about a few episodes ago. They mentioned that there were costumes on display there at the event, and they had the Soroth Torok random Marine costumes, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of costumes, costume designer Sharon Gillam was on a roundtable on Gold Derby, which appears to be some sort of online entertainment publication with some other costume designers from some other TV shows. So that was interesting. And then Rafe and some others, including Sharon Gillam, were on In Creative Company podcast. So I've yet to get to watch or listen to these things because, like I said, this news just came out recently, and I didn't get a chance. But thankfully, Watt Series gave us a little bit of the important stuff, the meat of each of these. So there was something I wanted to quote from the article from the podcast In Creative Company. Mr. Rafe Judkins briefly referenced a time frame of 18 months to 2 years between seasons during the panel. Okay. So no more speculation. 18 months to 2 years between seasons.
Okay, but 18 months to 2 years is 6 months. So it's still a
6 months from now.
No, I mean 6 months. There's a 6 month window in which it could be released.
Yeah, but I guess is that
less than 18 months?
Yeah, I mean, is that sustainable though? Like, I think
it's better than 2 years, which is what we were afraid of, and what we first thought it might be. So I mean, that saves a year every 3 years. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't the first time that he's kind of given that that vibe. I think of even from the beginning, like post season 1, like as I guess his interview with the Empire podcast team, like where he's just like, it's going to be a significant amount of time between us and Rings of Power. Like he didn't have an exact time frame, but like he always said, like there's going to be a big bump. But like, so 18 months,
But that I'd always
would still be like
February,
March would be March of next year, which is what we think it's going to be anyway.
yeah.
Right? If it's in Q2 of next year, that fits right in that bucket and fits in with the other statement of in the coming year. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's telling us the truth.
Well, yes, I'm sure he's not. I'm sure he's not mistaken. Yes, it's a good point.
I am saying, is it sustainable? Like 8 seasons, right? That means 8 seasons of the show.
Yeah.
It with a minimum of a year and a half, right? So that's 8
well, let's just go going forward because the first was just
right.
That's
12 years to get through 8 seasons of television. Yes. I mean, less than 12 because if you count season 1 to the last, there's no gap after season 8. So actually, it should have been times 7. But anyway, you get the idea. 10 and a half years. That's actually
not that bad when you think about it.
To 16 years. Well, not 16. Sorry, 10 and a half
to 14 years.
14 years to get if it was going to be 8 seasons.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like 18 months as opposed to 2 years is a gigantic swing of time, because 10 and a half years for 8 seasons of television. I'm like, okay, if they told me that in the beginning, right? 14 years. I'm like, oh my gosh. That's when you start talking about the fact that like there's a decent chance that one of us might be a grandparent. Like,
Oh, Jesus.
He's right, though.
I'm not kidding.
It's very likely.
I just realized recently that Bridgerton came out, and it's been 2 years since the last season of Bridgerton. Yeah. And I think the time goes a lot faster when you're not heavily invested in every tiny little aspect of what's going on. I was like, wow, that 2 years flew by.
I don't expect Bridgerton, though, to go that many seasons. I mean, 4 or 5 seasons.
Well, there's like a lot. Apparently, there's a lot of books, so they could keep going and using different characters. They don't have to use the same characters.
That's true, because it's almost like an anthology type series.
Yeah, like the people from the first season aren't even on it anymore.
No, and it seems like the people from the previous season were only in 1 episode so far, and that might all be all they are. So they're just going to keep.
Yeah, unfortunately, with us, we're going to have a 45-year-old Rand.
Yes.
Well,
maybe not. Maybe so. How old was he when it started? Maybe 25. So it'll be like 37 or 30
that's
or
all,
40.
37.
That's all.
It'll be like the end of 90210.
He'll probably look really good though, because he'll be a celebrity by that point. He'll have like veneers and like plastic surgery. He'll look young.
Oh, for sure.
So it should be okay. Yeah, it'll be okay.
Yeah. So there was another part of this article about basically just saying season 3 is going to release in 2025. And I'm going to give you all the information that says this is true. So there was a Variety article about Rosamund Pike being in Now You See Me 3. And there's a quote from it of her, or referencing her, quote, has played Sorceress Moiraine Damodred in Prime Video's epic fantasy, The Wheel of Time, since 2021, with a 3rd season of the series set to release in 2025. It's quoted from the Variety article. The Hollywood Reporter is saying, quote, the show launches its 3rd season next year. And Deadline that also said, quote, in recent years, Pike has also played the iconic Sorceress Moiraine Damodred in Prime Video's epic fantasy, which is almost the exact same line from Variety. So I mean, do people have originality? Which returns for its 3rd season in 2025. So 3 reports from reputable publications, all saying 2025. So again, as I said, our last week's episode, if you haven't listened to it yet, don't listen to it.
Why? We were right.
Why? We were right. Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you
but
talking
we
about?
were just talking about what it was going to be and came to this
And then,
exact conclusion.
so listen to that, and then listen to this episode where you find out that everything that we talked about, we were right about, and
not even knowing the
No,
facts.
I'm telling them now that they don't have to go back and listen because we were
No,
right.
yes, you do. I want to hear us be right.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
hear
Before
us
we
be right.
knew.
Okay, I'll leave it up to the listener. If you want to go back,
Can't
you can go
skip
back.
an episode.
Well, they already
you're
have
here-
it. They're hearing this.
if you're
and
here-
haven't heard the last one.
Yeah, if you're here, then you've already heard the last one, unless you're coming in today. And in that case, welcome. But go back and listen to the other ones.
All of them.
What kind
Listen, news.
what kind of skipper? What kind of sick, twisted person would skip a podcast episode?
I don't think if I was coming into a podcast that was on like 200 something, I wouldn't go back to the beginning.
We don't want people like that
Oh,
listening
no.
to this.
You know, the
podcast.
first ones are terrible.
Yeah, don't ever go back to the first few. Maybe start at like 20 or so. I don't even know.
Well, I would
what's the one
start
with
at
blood
boils blood.
boils blood.
Let's say, when
Yeah.
they start getting good around
It's
episode
so
early
on, that one.
Yeah, it's like episode 8 or something.
220.
Yeah, so it started getting good. This one,
Yeah.
I hope this one. My fingers are crossed.
Fingers are crossed. Just not the last one. And no, I'm just kidding. All right. So 2025 it is. We're not getting a Christmas present, but we could get an after New Year's present. But now we're talking about the 18 months. It does
We
seem
get a
more
St.
like-
Patrick's Day present
Yeah,
or an
there you
Easter
go.
present.
Yeah. So it sounds like we might get it in the spring of 2025. Hopefully it's not the 2 years and we're waiting till September.
Oh my God.
I don't think it will be. I feel confident in the Q2 2025 delivery.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we want to talk about one of my favorite topics? We're going to be doing a deep dive today.
Ooh.
We're going to be delving.
We dove right in, and now we're going to dive even deeper.
Well, you know what we're going to do? We're not diving anymore. We're going to delve today.
Ooh.
We're delving into the mysterious realm of the Aelfinn and the Eelfinn. Now, you might be wondering, hey, why are you talking about this? You guys only talk about stuff that you know is going to be in the show. And that's because this is going to be in the show. I know for a fact.
If you will it to be so, Joe, it will happen.
Yes. I almost wait. Let's go back to the to our chat about this, right? Was there I put in the chat yesterday, Aelfinn and Eelfinn this week. Jen in all caps, you're obsessed. And I just want to say my reply, which was true, was it was Tom's idea. And
It was my
Tom's
idea.
So
Fine.
So don't blame me. I mean, I happily agreed to it.
Is this the first time we're talking about something that hasn't been on the that hasn't been like
That we're not very certain is on the show? Yeah.
Yes, this
Oh
is
my
probably
God.
this is the most tenuous of episodes because we have never done something like this before. This is a first in Talk Around Yacht history.
Hold on to your hats, everyone,
Well, we did do the history.
and your eye patches.
We did do-
I guess we did the history.
we
But,
also did
but
calendars, weights, and measures.
But that's on the show.
that
isn't
stuff's
it?
on the show.
I
just don't
think
know.
I've
And
heard
the
them
history,
say
some of the
anything.
history has been addressed. This is the first official deep dive, I think, that's not into a character or setting that we don't have like definitive is going to be on the show. I will say this: while I've been very afraid since season 2's ending that this would be cut from the series, the more I prepared for this episode, the more I felt like they really have to put it in. I don't know how you don't after preparing for this episode. That's how I feel. So
I don't know. I think they could do anything, take anything out, change anything. I don't know. That's how I feel. I can't 100% commit to anything anymore.
well, yes, yes, there's always that, but I would say this, like for a literally let's go on a trip to an alternate dimension and then come back segment of the books, I do feel it has a stronger like completion of character art thread than I had I guess I had thought about it at first glance. But Joe, let's
yeah, I mean they could
I feel
do
like you're
like
anxious to start.
they could do like a magic carpet ride montage or something like that for the scene. But anyway, yeah. So let's talk about the Aelfinn and the Eelfinn. What are they? Right? They're these extra dimensional humanoids. I mean, we don't really get much information of the origins of them or exactly what they are, but they are two distinct species from what we understand in the books. We got the Aelfinn, who are kind of have snake-like features. They're I guess humanoids with snake-like features, and then the Eelfinn, again humanoids but with fox-like features.
Yes.
And they both reside in this realm. It's an interconnected realm, I would say, but it's separate from the real world for sure.
It's a parallel. It's a parallel world. It runs parallel. The rules of the laws of nature on that world or that universe, however you want to put it, are different than our own.
Yes. Oh yeah, we're going to talk about the rules later.
Ooh,
you know,
okay.
I love some rules. And we know of 2 access points. Well, I guess technically 3, but 2 different types of access points to get to their world, right? We've got the Tower of Genji, which is a direct route into their realm. And then we have the 2 stone doorframe Tirangrials, right? We got one in Tyr that goes to the Aelfinn, and then the one in Meridian, which goes to the Eelfinn's world.
Mm-hmm.
That is all. 2 ways. 2 ways to get in there. So let's start. Aelfinn. So these are the snake-like ones. They're often referred to as the snake people in the books. Their realm is characterized by a lot of curves and spirals. That's the theme in there. And
like a snake.
yes, exactly. Just like a snake. One of the reasons why I want to see this in the show is not just because it's the whole, it's a great part of the books, but just the set design. I want to see what they come up with for this. I think this is like a set designer's dream to do this. Like, I'm hoping like the set designers are like, did you put this in? We got to put this in. I want to do this. This is my idea.
Just I built the set just in case we're ready to do this. You're ready.
Yes.
So we're here. It's built.
So with the Aelfinn, you can ask them 3 questions and they will answer truthfully. And there are dangers about asking questions about the shadow or frivolous questions, which is, I guess, almost as bad. So we know of 3 characters that go through through this. This is the stone doorframe in Tyr. We know 3 characters go through this. The first one is Matt, second is Rand, and also Moraine. So do you want to talk a little bit about the questions that these characters ask and their answers?
Sure.
Dana, no, I didn't say the name of the realm. It is called Sindal. Sindal. Sorry, Sindal. What was I saying?
Sindal.
You know what that translates to?
What is that?
Neverland.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yes.
Well done, Jen.
In the old tongue or in real life?
Smoke bomb
The
goes
old
off
tongue.
and gone.
Oh,
The old tongue.
Yeah.
Sindal, Neverland. Interesting.
So what does Aradol translate to? Something else land.
I'll find that out in a second.
Dry land?
I'm just curious.
Dry
Arid.
island.
Maybe. I thought about Aradol when I saw that name.
Yeah. So, all right. So Matt asks 3 questions. The first one is, should I go home to help my people? They tell him he must go to Ruidian. He says, why would I do it? Meaning go to Ruidian. They say, if you don't go to Ruidian, you will die, which is odd. And he asks, why will I die if I don't go to Ruidian? And they respond, because you would have avoided the threat of fate. You would leave. But that you have marked adrift from the winds of time, and you would be killed by those who do not want that destiny to be fulfilled. What the hell does that mean?
I think basically it means that if he goes home, or if he doesn't go to Rhuidean, that the shadow will kill him, right? Those are the ones who want him not to fulfill his destiny.
True. Good point.
And just Aradal means land of harmony.
So, I mean, he
means
had
land,
to go to
I guess.
Rhuidean to like get the protection from the shadow. Basically, I'm skipping ahead a little.
Well, I think he had to go to Rhuidean to go through the other stone
right,
door frame.
and when he came out, he had stuff to protect him from the shadow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's protective from Aes Sedai and to get back in there.
Black
And
Aja too.
So
and Forsaken too, right?
Forsaken,
Channeling, yeah.
Yes. And it comes into play at the end of the series.
Mhm.
He also gets a fourth question though, because remember, I think at this point in the books, right, Rand is also in there.
Yep.
And it starts and Moraine, and the fact I think that there are two Taviran in there who are so strong, or such strong Taviran in there, it's causing a little instability in the world. And
There should be a little light at the top that's like red or green if like somebody else is already in there, like a porta potty.
Well, the gongs go off, right? The alarm goes off.
Yeah.
Right. So they're dragging him out.
Yeah.
Trying to get him out.
Yeah, they want him to leave because of this.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah.
right.
And they answer his question, his fourth question, and he asked another follow-up question. What fate are you talking about? And here we go. We were just talking about what that fate was, and it is to marry the daughter of the Nine Moons, to die and be reborn, and to live again, a part of what was. Give up half the light of the world to save the world, which is kind of the most important part of all of this. Interesting that it was the fourth question that gave us this information.
And he gets three answers to it. It's not, I don't think that's one answer. I think because it's three different beings respond to him. And they're all just trying to get him to get out. So I think he really gets three different answers to that question.
So you think this, like, if it was, everything was kosher and this was like not, this whole thing wasn't going on with Rand being in there, they would have just told him one thing?
Yes.
Or he wouldn't have even gotten. That was the fourth question.
No, I'm saying if this was like the third question, let's say. If this was another question.
He would have got the 9 moons and that's it.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. I really do feel it's like just, you gotta go. And then like they're all just shouting at him.
Yeah.
Because they can't handle it themselves. They don't want to,
but
like they're compelled to.
Do you think that like there's other rooms where they are, or it's like happening on different planes, or like how, like where Rand is and Moraine, because they're all in there at the same time. So like, do you think that
there are different rooms?
I think
they're literally physically in different rooms and they just don't run into each other, or it's like
yes.
Okay.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's not like another version of the world, or I don't know.
Yeah, or they're not on the other side of this room that you can see. Yeah.
So there's not like specific Finns that are doing this for everybody. There's like all different.
There's different.
Why would there be different rooms if only one person's supposed to be?
I don't think the problem wasn't that there was more than one person. I think it was that they were both such strong Taviran that was causing them. And also we find out what Rand's questions were, which also I think contributed to the.
Yeah, they're all about the shadow.
Yes, they're all questions that kind of break the rules.
Well, I guess one of them doesn't. Well,
well, two of them are, and we don't know what the other question is, right? So there's three questions. We don't know what one of the questions was. One of the other questions was about cleaning up corruption or the taint.
Right. How do I
clean that up?
How do I win the last battle? And isn't the last one about like, can he survive?
It's one question. The last one, I think. I think that's one question. Yeah. So the one about cleansing Saidin, the only thing we know about it is that he didn't get a direct answer. We don't know like what they said. And then he asked, how can I win the last battle and survive? And that's when we get the north and east must be one, the west and south must be one, the two must be one, to live you must die.
It's funny to think that like Rand and Moraine like researched this, like knew what they were doing, went in, asked their questions, and Matt's just like stumbles in. He's just yelling at everyone. He's dragged out. Like,
I know.
But he gets probably gets the most information from them.
Yeah.
Well,
this is
it's
the
his
most
luck,
interesting
man.
Experience.
And you know, I do think it's odd. I think that, and he does, to his credit or whatever, he does go in with a plan. He has 3 questions that he wants to ask. He just doesn't ask them because he gets derailed by their first answer. Right?
How does he know? Doesn't he find out when he's in there that he can ask 3 questions?
No, I think Egwene tells him because she finds out.
Oh, that's right. Maybe. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love the fact that like you don't find out until after that, like they're all speaking the old tongue and he just understands them and can speak it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
he asked about the
it took them a while
translator,
to get me a translator, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
That's right. They speak they speak the old tongue.
Yeah.
We don't know what Moraine's questions were. I think it's been speculated that one of them has to do with knowing the face of the man she will marry. So
Yeah.
that was never confirmed.
Who am I going to marry? Who is it?
That's
Tell
what she
me.
asked Moraine goes in.
Girly question. But
yeah.
tell me who I'm going to marry. I need to know.
I don't know how that came about, but she says afterwards, I know the face of the man I'm going to marry.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't that question.
I don't think she asked who I was going to marry. That just was the answer they gave because they like to give,
Who's the best Gleeman? It's Tom, the man you're going to marry. Oh my God.
Some other characters in the story that we do know that went through, and I never thought about this, and I do want to talk a little bit about
I'm sorry. Grace in chat just said the Aelfinn play a game of MASH with you, and I was literally thinking that.
Is that what the papers?
No, you put like four guys, and then you do the spiral, and you count the lines, and you cross out, and it's like you're gonna live in a mansion with Tom Marilyn. Oh my God. I was literally thinking that's so funny. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt. Go ahead.
Anyway, that was kind of funny. Some other characters that went through to the Aelfinn that we really I never thought about, and I'd like to talk about a little bit. So Mordeth, and this was confirmed by Brandon Sanderson. So Mordeth, that's the the man behind the dagger, and Shadar Logoth. Interesting. I'd love to know what he asked. Geidel Kane, Brigida, because I believe she's the one who mentions it. We know that, spoiler alert, Lanfear goes there, though not voluntarily. And Moradin goes there. I don't remember that.
Moradin goes there and kills Lanfear so that she can be reincarnated.
Oh, that's right. Moraine says that, right?
That a guy came out and got really upset that she's not the person I'm looking for. And she was very afraid of him. Yeah.
That's right.
She didn't know who he was because she had never seen Moradin.
So do you think Moradin just went there for that? You think he asked questions?
No, I think that his attitude seems to be very much like, I am here to do what I'm here to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's possible. And I also think he may have gone to, no, first of all, he didn't go through the stone doorway in Tyr, or did he? He might have gone through the stone doorway in Tyr, but I feel like he's talking to the Eelfinn, not the Aelfinn, I think, because it looks like he's bargaining with them.
Well, they're both
Aren't
have
they
both
her.
there. Yeah, they're both have
there.
them, yeah.
She's like kind of being captured by them both, but like the Aelfinn, like the Aelfinn don't deal in like give me something kind of stuff, right? So
I have a question.
Give me something kind of stuff.
Why can't they get out
Who?
of when Moraine pushes Lanfear through the door? Why because something happens to the door or
Yeah, it starts immediately starts to melt and
Melts.
burn. Yeah.
okay, but what? But so they can't just go out like somewhere else. You have to come out the same. I don't know. Like
No,
I think they get captured.
They immediately get captured.
Why do they get captured?
But because what do you mean why?
Like Matt went in and he did what he had to do and he almost died, but he got out.
I imagine they wandered around in there or they fought. I don't like.
Yeah, they were fighting.
I think the one
channeling
power draws them, right? Doesn't it draw them?
Yeah, and channeling is very dangerous there because, like I mentioned earlier, like this comes from Jordan. Like the rules of the natural world are different, and you like channeling in that world is not. But the same thing doesn't happen. So yeah, they're immediately captured, and they feed on the one power.
Yeah,
like it's in some ways better for them than even the emotions and memories of the poor suckers who walk in there.
Yeah. Jason's got a good point out there too. In Discord, Moraine had already been there, so the bargain wouldn't apply to her. So they
No, but Moraine was with the Aelfinn, not the Eelfinn.
This is the same.
No, it's the one from Rhuidean.
Oh, that's right.
This door.
That's right. This is the door from Rhuidean.
That's what I'm saying. Like she went through the other one, now she's going through this one. I guess
if she were able to get to the other one, or to where the Tower of Genji let you in, she would have been able to get out. But like they don't lead you to the same place; they lead you to very different places, right?
Yeah.
So, and that entrance is pretty much immediately destroyed. So, even if they were like able to go, okay, hey, let's ally ourselves.
Does
whatever.
she destroy from the inside though?
No, I think the channeling does that automatically.
I think they were channeling as they went through, and that's what caused it to melt.
And also remember, Moraine knows what's going to happen, and is like, "This is what I'm going to do."
Yeah,
right. She knows that. She knows that the only way for her to get out that is going to be successful and successful for the world is if Matt, Tom, and someone else come and get her.
Yeah.
But
also her
because of what she sees in the rings.
But why? But if she gets Lanfear in there, but then Lanfear ends up getting reincarnated and gets out,
right?
What is the why does this have to happen?
I don't think
any of this have to happen.
Yes.
I think Moraine needs to be gone so Rand can kind of grow and evolve.
I think that's.
I mean,
I think that's part of it. I think,
and it also shows. The purpose is she needs to keep Lanfear away from Rand. That's the whole reason she does it, because she knows that if she doesn't, that it's going to be things are going to turn out bad. Right? That's what she sees. She sees like.
But how long is Lanfear gone?
Like the Shadow's going to win if she doesn't stop Lanfear or keep Lanfear away from Rand.
So she's gone not for that long, but Sindane's mind trapped when she comes back and doesn't have the freedom to do what she wants to do. So, like, Lanfear's effectively gone and off the table until the last book.
All right.
Yes. There we go.
Okay,
I think we solved it.
I just needed to chalk that one out.
No, it's a good question. It's something like we kind of don't ever. Well, I mean, it's not like we don't know, but we don't kind of talk about that much. We just talk about like it happened, and it was crazy. I feel like Chris Farley on that sketch in Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
You remember that time? And
that's how you push Lanfear through the doorway.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
You're doing great, Chris.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to the Aelfinn?
Sure.
Okay, these are.
I feel like we talked about them too.
Fox-like people. Well, we talked about them for like a second.
A little bit.
We didn't really get into the differences, right? So these are the Fox-like people, or Fox people, as I think Matt references them as. And their realm is different. It is not spirally and round or circular like the land of the Aelfinn. Their realm is characterized by sharp lines and angles. Like, I guess, kind of like a fox's face.
Yes.
Pentagons and stars.
Yes. And these gentlemen and gentle foxes grant 3 wishes. But But like you said, there's a bargain, right? So you basically bargain with them to get your wishes. So there's a price you pay, and you have to be really careful about setting that price beforehand. Otherwise, not going to be good.
Right. Their typical price is death.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. Now, Matt is the only one we know that goes there and has the normal, not the normal, but the experience that one would have going through there, as opposed to what we were talking about with Moraine just a few minutes ago. And he gets 3 gifts. The holes in his memories are filled with the memories of past life generals and military men and women. He gets the Foxhead Medallion because he wants to be rid of Aes Sedai.
Free from Aes Sedai, yeah.
Free from Aes Sedai. So he gets the Foxhead Medallion, which prevents anyone from channeling at him. And if a channeler is wearing it, right? Oh no, those are the copies, right? Elaine's copies. If you can't channel while wearing it either, right?
Right.
Yeah. And the Ashendarai, because his final question is for a way out, which is a really smart. Not his final question. His final wish is a way out, which is very smart.
Yes.
But we never make that connection until the end of the series as to like,
oh, it's a way out.
Oh, like what's the Ashendarai? How's that a way out? Like I always thought like the Ashendarai was just like another, like a symbol.
Like because it says like thus our bargain.
Yeah.
Thus, right.
Yeah. Thus our bargain has been made. Thus the price has been paid or something like that. Oh God, where was I? I lost my space.
So they give you 3 wishes, but you have to bargain. That's where you were.
Yes.
Don't wish for more wishes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously later on, Matt goes back there to rescue Moraine. Spoiler alert. He negotiates.
We say spoiler alert after we say
I say
The whole show is full spoilers.
I know. It's just funny.
I say it as, I don't know. I think I do it on purpose like that because it's so stupid. Matt negotiates to get Moraine back by giving up half the light of the world to save the world, which is equal to the removal of his left eye.
Yeah.
It's very literal.
Yes.
Like,
they knew he was going to come back, I guess. They knew he'd be back. Well,
they knew it.
They knew he'd be there. So Tom, you were talking about the rules before, right? So there are rules to this game, right? You're not supposed to bring in iron, light, or music.
Right.
And do you know why you're not allowed to bring in iron, light, or music?
Yes, because iron binds them and can harm them, and fire and music entrance them. Although the more exposure they have to both the fire and the music, the less that entrancement works. What I think is interesting is the more I read into this show is that, and you get a real sense of this when Matt goes back, that they're entrancing you, and they're kind of hypnotizing you, and they're trying to lead you down a false path. And basically the iron and the music and the fire evens the tables, and that's why they've banned them.
Yes. They lose their advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were 4 things.
No, just the 3.
Just the 3. There's a 4th line of the rhyme, but it's just the 3 things.
Something to something.
Iron that binds, light that blinds, music, courage.
Yeah,
Courage?
yeah. It's
Okay, all right.
So, now, Jen, you had said before about like, is there just one room with the snakes?
Sorry,
but Joe, okay,
I got the quote here. Courage to strengthen, fire to blind, music to dazzle, iron to bind.
Yeah, but there is just one room for the foxes, or at least one room where there's actually like where all the bargains are legitimate.
Okay.
And one of the things that they try and do is get you to agree to a bargain before you go in that room, and then they just kill you.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a little bit different here.
Yeah. It's my favorite chapter icon, I think, in the series.
Snake and foxes.
Yeah, it's so cool. Badass. So what do the Finn do? What is all this about? Why are they doing all of this? Well, they like to feed on human sensations and experiences and emotions, and that's what they're doing to Moraine. And time travels differently in this world too. So the amount of time you think you're in there for you could think you're in there for days, kind of like the ways you could feel like you're in there for days, and when you return, it's only been minutes, and vice versa. So
like Interstellar.
Yeah. Yeah. So just a little bit about navigation in there, right? It's really disorienting. Disoriented. I can't speak.
You're right. Disorienting.
I know it doesn't sound right when I said it.
You're disoriented. Say
yeah, I am disoriented. It's really disorienting. Yeah, it doesn't. I said the word too much, and now it doesn't sound right. Even more so. It's really difficult to navigate there because because there's very random and non-linear paths and doorways and hallways and rooms, and everything kind of looks the same. And I remember, like, I think Matt tries to navigate by like looking at a tower out the window.
And it changes which side it's on and how far and close it is.
Yeah. It's almost like a dimension that's kind of like folded on itself. Very weird. I really want to see this set. That's why I want this part. I want to see the sets for this. It could be so cool.
There's like a part where like they go down a hallway and then they turn around and go back basically, and they're in a different spot or whatever. And it always reminded me of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory when they first walk in and they go down and the hallway just gets small, and then they turn around and they go back the way they came, and all of a sudden they're in the chocolate room. And I'm like, and I felt like that's what it's like. It's just different. Like it doesn't. It's not the direction that you're traveling. It's, I don't know how you're traveling there or whatever.
I always thought of the game Zelda when there was that one level where you would walk through, and it would just keep going back to the same room, and you'd have to like walk back and do some weird kind of pattern to actually advance.
Yeah, I think it's kind of what it is, right?
Oh God. Yeah, it's pretty much Zelda. It's funny that we say that because I mean it's a children's game. It's based. I was going to say this is based off a children's game, but I think the children's game is based off of this world, which kind of makes it interesting. Like, who invented the game? I want to hear the story of like the invention of the game of snakes and foxes in the Wheel of Time, because there's had to be somebody who traveled there and then decided to like create a game based off of it.
Yeah, and what's interesting, right? The game is like they talk about it. I think Tamanis is thinking about it when he's playing with Oliver at the same time that they're in it in the latter books, and he talks about it in a way that like it's a children's game because eventually children get old enough to realize you cannot win the game.
Yeah,
right. And then Oliver wins. Like you need basically you need to roll perfectly like every time in order to win, which is like, you know, statistically impossible. But so it to me it seems like this is a cautionary tale game to teach children don't go there. Like you will lose.
You think that was it? He created this game as a warning to people?
Yeah, I do. I think that's how this came about. I think it's
this would make a great Outrigger novel.
Yeah. The making of a game.
The person got out, so I guess there is a way he knew a way to get out.
Yeah, he figured out.
Just cheating.
Yeah, he's teaching people. He's also, while he's teaching people, I guess, Tom, as you say, to not go there, he's also teaching people how to win.
How to win.
Yeah.
If you do go there.
Right, that you need these stakes, right? And you need to, like, that you have to say the incantation at the start of every game.
Yes.
Right?
And just like the children's game, the only way to win is to cheat.
Right.
And which is what, you know, Matt does. They bring in they bring in those items that they're not supposed to be bringing in. So, yeah, I want that Outrigger novel. I want the making of the board game Snakes and Foxes.
That's the novel, the making of the game.
Yeah,
I like it. Monopoly started as a cautionary tale.
maybe Mordeth. Maybe Mordeth was the one creator of the game. We know he was there. He went there. That's my
back before he poisoned Aradol.
Mordeth Bradley.
It's his last name. We found it out.
He just looks like the Monopoly man. That's just what Mordeth looks like.
Uncle Moneybags? That's his name?
I don't know.
Rich Uncle Moneybags?
Oh, I can't remember.
Sorry. Tom, is there I'm putting you on the spot here, and I didn't ask you this beforehand, but are there any real world parallels that you wanted to bring
Not
up?
real world parallels, but there's a lot of mythological parallels.
Well, you know what I meant, real world mythology.
Yeah, so I think obviously the Aelfinn and the Eelfinn are both not a Tolkien-esque elf, but I think more of an Irish fairy kind of elf thing. They're fairy folk, right? Which is also in part what the Aes Sedai are influenced on, but here it's this kind of they live in the underworld. They'll trick you. Maybe they'll give you something good, but it's not the way that you want it. That sort of a thing. So that's I think the main influence. But what's also a huge influence, and this is the part where I was talking about, I think why I think it's really necessary to the story in a way I wasn't thinking about it in the beginning. The underworld, in a hell and in a Hades kind of way, is also a big influence here, and in something that I can't believe I didn't make the connection when we were talking about this a month or so ago. Matt returning to get Moraine, and then trying to escape is very much the same plot as Hades Town, of trying to rescue Eurydice, right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say the movie Labyrinth.
No, but it's a similar thing. But it's what's his name? Orpheus trying to go in and rescue Eurydice, and using the power of his music to entrance the leaders of the underworld in order to get what he wants, and bring it out. And there's a bargain that he has to make in order to do so, which he fails to do. Which whatever. So that's that. Not
spoiler alert.
That's
for Hades Town.
That's the
Don't spoil Hades Town.
Spoiler alert to a 4,000-year-old myth.
That's not,
yeah, I think
enough time, Tom. Some people might not have read it yet.
Some people need more time.
So yeah, I think that there's also that, and then obviously the other thing with the 3 wishes being granted is genies. I think they're also here, but again, especially in this kind of like not the Disney genie kind of a sense, but this negative, almost demonic force that if you get them in the right circumstances, you can bend it to your will and get something out of it. Yeah, I think that's it. I will say that there is an element of between the snakes and the foxes are both animals that have symbolism for being very intelligent and tricksters. And I think that there's no I think the fact that the people who go in to rescue Moraine, being Matt and then Tom and Noel, are like your 3 like good trickster characters, and basically like you need all 3 of them in order to be lucky and sneaky enough to beat the Finns at their own game. So yeah, I think those are your main mythological influences on there. When you talk about the fairy folk, and you talk about elves in that method, there really are like these dark, really negative characters that almost they exist outside of nature. They exist outside of the natural world, and anything that they do with you is just added danger to yourself. And really the only way that you're going to get out of there is by your wits. And I think that's where this all sprung from. Right.
Yeah. I mean, you have the connection with the snakes and the Bible stories with the snake in the Garden of Eden. Yeah, it's a lot of interesting mythological connections here.
Yeah. And again, just to like kind of tie a point home to that, like one of Matt's major mythological underpinnings is like, he is a god of death. A good god of death, but a god of death nonetheless, right? And the books talk about that a lot more than I think really like lean into that. But the show has really leaned hard into there is a darkness inside of Matt Cawthon, and what is that going to do? And I think having like this god of death go and beat these other gods of death at their own game and walk away from it, I think is a really cool thing. And they already gave you the little bit of possible foreshadowing with the dream sequence of Nynaeve and Matt losing an eye.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean from the show, the scene from Nynaeve's
test. So I think that the show is I was worried they were kind of throwing these things out as like, well, here's how you're going to get Matt being hung, folks. But
here's how you get Matt without an eye, because none of that's going to actually happen in the show.
But I really feel like there is a stronger case than this stuff is just really cool. That this stuff needs to be in the show, especially because due to circumstances not necessarily in the showrunner's control or the people or the entire creative team that control, Matt has been an underserved character in this series so far.
Agreed.
So doing this is a chance to bring him back to his prominence.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, obviously these are all some parts of the books. Are they going to put them in the show? Yes. Why? Because I said so. And that's it. That's all I have to say. There you go. Anyone want to debate that?
No, put it in. You sold me, Joe.
All right. So the question is now, how are they going to put it into the show? That's the real question. Not are they, because we already know the answer is yes. People are going to get angry when they listen to this because they think I know what I'm talking about.
Well, according to you, Joe, Matt goes through the doorway, I believe, in every single episode of the show so far that we've discussed.
I think he went in season 2 also for Joe.
He did. He's been in there a lot. Okay.
Okay.
I don't even want to say we've got the Ashandarai, the makeshift Ashandarai line that he said.
Yes, makeshift. Very key to me.
We've got the Matt without an eye, and also the hanging, right, in season 2 between Nynaeve's accepted test and Matt's T-trip. Why would they do those again? Why would they put scenes?
They don't have to do the hanging.
That's true. They don't have to do
the hanging.
And I mean, the eye one is obviously like you're talking like 4 seasons, 5 seasons later, however many seasons it's going to be. So that won't pay off till the last season.
Yeah, you're thinking.
So that I could see them doing. But to then have an Ashandarai in this season, I know we've talked so much about the Ashandarai, but just thinking about it so close together, that's what would seem off to me, but I don't know. I feel like there's so many hints that it's not going to be in the show because we're getting all these things as like little signs.
Yeah, that he gets his memory. He remembers.
Yeah, he's already
things of his past lives or whatever.
It's got an Ascender eye. He had one eye in there. He got hung all in season 2. Everything, all of this happened in season 2. These are all things that's supposed to happen down the road.
And he doesn't have holes in his memories, right?
Like Min telling him some of this stuff too. Like
I thought he taught you. Now you're talking yourself out of it. You're saying it's not happening. So we wasted this episode.
I'm talking myself out of it. I'm hedging.
I do think if you do it on the show, they could not be distinct people. That they are snakes and foxes, and they live together in a world, and you just do one trip. That they don't all have to go. That just Matt goes. I think you can do all of that. Or even you do a thing where it's like they go through and like Matt gets more because he can speak to them without a translator or something like that. If you do it early on, I do like the idea of
there's no old tongue mentioned, right? They haven't planted that seed. That
he
seed.
said the thing in the old tongue.
He says the one line at the very end of the season.
All right, well, that's
it. And then other people have spoken of the old tongue exists in the show.
No, I'm not saying that it doesn't exist, but they haven't. I was going to say they didn't really set it up.
That they haven't set up anything with that. He doesn't have
barely anything happened to him after that. Yeah. Like he stabbed Rand and Lenny sat there with him, and that was the end. Didn't say anything else.
Do you think the recasting of Matt had any potential effect on the Aelfinn and Eelfinn being in the show?
No, I don't think so.
Because they kind of had to rework the story.
No, I don't think so. I think that they would know whether they were doing that probably from jump. Like I don't think that they were going like either they knew whether they were going to do this or they were not going to do it. And I think that's part of your plot. Like if you're taking it out of the show, like you can't make that decision after you've started. Really, you have to kind of know going in that like you're taking out this whole chunk of stuff. You have to figure out: is Matt going to have a medallion? Where's he going to get it from? Is Matt going to have a Chandra? Where's he going to get it from? Is he going to know about the Door of the Nine Moons? How's he going to find that out? Is he going to die and live again? Are we going to do that?
Is Moraine going in there? Is that because if you don't even have Moraine the doors, what are we doing with Moraine? Is she leaving? Is she staying?
Right. Are we doing anything with Lanfear? Like all that stuff like needs to happen. I don't mind. I like the idea of using Matt going in to the doorway as like a tipping point. Like that Matt's going to go one place at the beginning of the season and end in a different place through the doorway. So either he goes with Rand to Rordian and ends in Tanchico, or he goes with the girls to Tanchico and ends up in Rordian. I kind of like that idea that he travels through a magical doorway and ends up in a different part of the world. Right?
He comes out the door frame in Ruridian.
Yeah, like even if it's something where he's like, like he says, I've got to get out and help my friends. And he's talking about the people that he left in whatever place he went into this door. And he ends in a different place with a different set of friends. Like,
yeah, I mean, he could leave the same way he leaves the one in Ruridian in the books. Yeah. He just wakes up, when he's hanging from a tree and Rand saves him.
I don't think he can start in Tanchico and end in Rordian. I feel like if that's happening, which I don't think it is, I feel like you would have to start in Rordian and then.
Well, I thought it was more important that he's with Rand at the end so they can come back because of like you said, Tom, because of the formation of the band that happens when they're when they get back to Kyrie End.
Right. Like
I don't know.
I feel like I agree with you, Joe. I think he doesn't have to do anything except be with Rand fighting the Aiel. Like, because that's how he forms the band and that's how he becomes a general. And like otherwise, I don't know. I guess he could just get a bunch of guys and they could be the band. But like
in Tanchico.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just start like accumulating guys because he's a Taviran.
And then there's no killing of Couladin by Matt.
Right.
Does it make any sense that Matt kills Couladin though, or is it just cool?
It's just cool.
It is cool, and I think I do like
to kill Like at that point, anybody could kill Couladin.
I like the fact that Matt and Perrin are actively, even if unintentionally, just doing things to help Rand win.
It's also the fun. The great part of that is how it was so like incidental. It wasn't like Matt sought him out or
it was like meant nothing.
Yeah, it was just happened. Like it was just coincidence, basically.
Yeah, he just ran into him. He's like, I guess I'm fighting this guy.
Like you're this unimportant. Well,
he also is. Couladin's a bitch. Like, I mean.
But do you think for a TV show, it would be better if Rand killed Couladin?
No, because Rand's gonna be fighting a Forsaken at the end of the season. And
no, not at the end. It wasn't the end of the. It wasn't at the same time. He left.
No, it was at the end of the book.
Well, right, I mean, but I'm saying
he doesn't die at the end of that book. The next book, isn't it?
Couladin, yeah, I think it's in the Fires of Heaven, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rand fights a Forsaken at the end of that.
Oh, I think
you're talking about the
yeah.
Okay, no, I know, but I just feel like
he kills the Forsaken at the end of Fires of Heaven. Yes, to be clear.
I don't know. It makes sense to me that Rand kills Couladin on the TV show.
It does, and they've taken away things that Rand had, like Rand has done less so far. So it does make sense because Rand hasn't physically fought and killed anybody yet.
No, he doesn't know how to use the sword.
No, but I imagine
he killed a Trolloc.
He did kill a Trolloc.
With a
he's killed a bunch of people.
He had help.
With the power, though. You said
yes, with the power. Yes, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, he killed the Trolloc with his own hands.
His father.
No, killed him with Lanfear.
Which one?
Right.
That was a sacrifice. Wait, what are you talking? That was
right.
The one power.
That was a Trolloc.
There was a right, wasn't it?
Or was it a fade?
It was a fade. Yeah. Sorry.
That guy was. His job was to die.
His job was to die. Yeah, we talked about that.
Did he use the one power on that fade?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He burned him. Yeah. That's why. Yes. So,
the only thing he's killed with his hands is Narg.
It's Narg.
He almost killed that guy in the forgo. I mean, he's basically dead.
He did pummel that guy.
Beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, he just beat that guy.
Johnny Dickhead. What was his name?
Johnny. Well, I don't. Yeah, it might have been Johnny Dickhead.
I thought it was Johnny Douchebag.
No.
I don't. Yeah, I probably said Johnny Dickhead. I don't know.
I think he was.
So anyway,
back to.
So I'm gonna say Aelfinn, Eelfinn, episode 4
of season 3.
Of season 3.
Oh boy.
I think that's still your best bet. Is that it happens? It happens on at the Rodian episode. However you want to pronounce
that's
that
right.
City.
It would have to line up with that episode if they do it.
So,
if they do
4.
If they do it, like you said, where he starts in Tanchico and then goes to Ruridian, it makes sense. Because they could just have him come out the other door frame.
Mm-hmm.
See, for me though, if I were to put him going through the door frame, I would have put it much later in the season. But
I think you last time you said it was episode 7. I think.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was either like 7 or 2. It was really early or really late.
Yes.
If he's going to go cross country, it makes
cross
sense
country.
to do it later, like 6 or 7. And then, at the end of like episode 6 or 7, he comes out and he's in Ruridian. But we know for sure.
Why?
Well,
why would that happen?
Because he's not going to do that much in Ruridian. There's not much for him to do once he gets there.
So then why would he go to, think about writing of the show.
He goes, the only reason, well, there's 2 reasons, right? I think he needs to go through to the Aelfinn and Eelfinn, right? And he does that in Ruridian, but if we're saying he's going to do it in Tanchico, fine. The other thing is what we just said before, that him coming back from the Waste to Cairhien is when the band forms, the Band of the Red Hand, which is a huge part of Matt's storyline. So they're either going to have to do it somewhere else, or Matt's going to somehow have to get over there this season.
Also,
by the end of the season.
I think they could easily do it somewhere else.
I would like Melindra to be in the show.
Well, I already replaced Melindra, right? I said Ascendra.
I know you do. Sandra, yeah. But either way, I want Matt to be sleeping with a dark friend and then have to kill her.
Well, Rand already slept with a Forsaken this season, so they might not do it because they might be like, oh, here we go again. Now he's sleeping with
the same
Dark
thing,
Friend.
right? And killing a girl in the bedroom.
Yes.
But you know what? I think it then allows you to mistrust every one of their love interests.
And it allows everyone
and
to
then Fael
mistrust
comes in and you're like,
right.
She's got to be a Dark Friend too.
But you're like, Min's already been hanging out with bad people.
Oh yeah.
Tuon's gonna come later on. Not the most trustworthy.
I just don't think, like, we know that Matt is in Tenchiko. We know that. So I just think that this, it's just
everything to try and get him not in Tenchiko.
Him to be also, he's also going to be in Roydian, and he'll go, like, it's too much. Like, I don't think that, do the band somewhere else. Just figure it out.
No, just don't do the band. I'm sorry. I went through this rant before, but if he's in Tenchiko, just cut it. You've cut everything else from him. Just cut it. Like, it doesn't make.
Just kill him. Just kill Matt.
Just have him be comic relief. Have him in Loyal.
Well, whatever it is, I just don't think that we have to force him into Rodian or into the Waste. I just think, like, that's us just wanting to see him in the Waste because we want to, and we know he's not there.
I don't just want to see him in the Waste. I want to see the band formed.
Yes, I actually don't care about him in the Waste. I care about him. I want him. I want him out of the Waste.
They could all go to Cairhien, just them from Tanchika, and the rest of them from the Waste, and they could just meet up there, and then
what could happen with Matt after Tenchiko?
He could go back to Cairhien for whatever reason, and that's how he reconnects with Rand and Egwene, and the rest of them, and then that's how the band forms. Because he's leaving Cairhien, right? That's when the band forms, when he's trying.
Maybe he has like a fight with somebody, and then he wins, and then he becomes like de facto leader of that guy's army or something. They start following him.
Don't know. That's terrible. That's terrible.
We went through this.
Terrible. It's terrible for this story. If it happened in some other story,
they're going to come up with something good. I believe in them.
I hope so.
And I think the band will happen, and I think it'll happen in a different way, and it'll be okay, and it's fine.
All right.
And maybe we'll see the Finns.
I'm back on the wagon, everybody. Finns in season 3.
Finns we already talked about the museum in Tenchiko. That didn't come up one time today, but that's probably where the doorway is going to be.
You've got a lot of possibilities. You got
one of his wishes is going to be the head of a army. When he comes out, there's going to be an army there waiting for him.
Well, yeah, the questions
randomly.
Well, then
it's going to start collecting people.
So all of these questions that he asks would be pointless, right? Because they're not going to tell him to go to Rhuidean if the show's not putting him to Rhuidean, and that's what the questions are.
Right. They're not going to tell him to not go back home because he already didn't go back home. I think he's just going to go see the foxes and get stuff.
So
although he might find out about the Daughter of the Nine Moons. Like, I can see that being.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask about. Marrying the Daughter of the Nine Moons, to die and be reborn, to live again, and to give up that
if he doesn't,
world.
He's not going to die. If he's not with Rand, he doesn't die and live again either. Well, he might.
No, he won't, because there's nobody to balefire him, but he bring him back. Like,
well, if he goes back to Cairhien,
I was talking about the Rodian.
Yeah, but he's not going to go back to Cairhien. We already talked about this. Like, it's not happening. If he's in Tenchiko at the end of this season, then he is not part of whatever storyline is going on with Rand.
Okay.
It's just not happening. Because things have to happen too quickly now. Like, think about in the books, in the first 3 books, a lot of time passes, right? Once book 4 is over, like, everything's like boom, 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 boom. Like, there's no time to get Matt across the continent.
What do you mean there's no time to get him across the continent?
That's what traveling is for.
Okay. The book, yes, except though we can travel.
Well, they'll figure it out.
Right. Rand is, at the end of the season, going to lead the Aiel, and the Shido, we think, are going to be leaving, right? That's what we're pretty sure is going to... That season 4 is going to be Aiel Waste, and by season 5, they're going to be out of the Waste, right?
Well, the end of season 5 is probably going to be... 4 is going to be Doom as well, most likely.
Right. So, like, season 4 has to begin with them getting ready to fight the Shido. Because you have to get through whatever condensed plot lines from Fires of Heaven and the Lord of Chaos.
What I'm saying is,
right?
At the end of the season, Rand, Moraine, Lan, Egwene, Avienda, they're going to be leaving the waste to come across the spine. At the end of the season, Matt, maybe Nynaeve and Elaine and Min and Tom are going to leave Tanchico to go east, and they're going to meet in Cairhien. That's what I'm saying. And then season 4 might start with them in Cairhien, potentially.
So, okay. I don't want to be that, but like, the girls are leaving. Presumably the girls are going to go to try and find the rebel Aes Sedai, right?
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
So Matt's going to leave them and Tom.
Yeah, he's going to
go by himself to Cairhien. And for what reason? To do what? Why would he even go to Cairhien?
Why?
Rand's in the waste.
I'm going to tell you why, Tom. I'm going to tell you why. Because of why Perrin and Matt always go to Rand. Because he's pulling at them. That's exactly why he's going to go there. He feels a pulling and the tugging, and he has to go to Cairhien because he knows Rand needs him there.
Pulling and a tugging.
He feels a pulling and a tugging, all right. That's Melindra.
And it happens all the time in the books, so it doesn't make it's not like it doesn't make any sense.
All right, I'm fine. That's fine.
That happens multiple times.
You're right. No, I'm you good. That's good. That is a good enough reason for me.
All right. I think this is a good place to wrap it up, unless anyone has any last thoughts about this.
No, I have no thoughts.
All right. I want to remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, so be sure to go to our YouTube page to like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes to this episode. Any last words?
Happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day. Yeah, I guess it's not. I mean, it's not really supposed to be a happy holiday, is it?
No.
It's a
somber Memorial Day, everyone.
Yeah, but you could wish somebody a happy day.
Okay.
Have a good weekend. Have a good long weekend, America.
Have a good long weekend. I want to also remind everybody that next week we're beginning our countdown of the most main characters. So it's just going to be exciting, everybody. I'm really pumped. I'm stoked. Tom, do we have an update on how many votes there have been so far?
But if you give me a little bit of time.
Take your time. We'll edit it out.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you.
Here, Tom, while you're looking there.
So it's not nowhere near long enough.
It's not long enough. Definitely not long enough.
Oh boy.
Does she get shaved?
It's one hard cock.
Oh boy. I'm gonna dance like it's playing, even though it's not.
I can put it back on.
Like freeze dance.
Sorry,
everybody. Didn't realize it was going to take this long.
I'm going to
it's going to take a while.
75,000 votes.
Sorry.
No, 75 million votes.
Oh.
Million. Oy.
What do you have to count each one, Tom?
No, I mean, I have to go into a website and run a report and then pull the data from the report to find out what the count is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not even working for my phone. So,
all right. Well, I'll just cut all that. No, don't even continue. I'm cutting it all from the episode.
Yeah.
It's getting cut.
Sorry.
Let's go back. Where were we? Oh yeah, I'm very excited. Sorry.
Sorry.
I have to cut this out of the video too, almost. Nah, let's forget it. Let's just move on. Let's press on. I want to thank everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.